Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis.
This is BHBN Radio.
It is the Monday after, coming to you from Villa Park, from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio, Birmingham's Hospital Radio Network. And we broadcast live football to all of the wards of the hospitals in the local area. We're at Villa Park right now. It's Sunday evening. We've just seen Aston Villa win for the 10th time in a row in all competitions, beating Manchester United by 2-1. It's one of the games that we're going to be looking back on from this weekend with me, Ben Ellis. I'm joined on the panel by two people who are probably much warmer than I am right now because they're in the comfort of their own homes. Ed Mackay is with us. How are you doing, Ed?
Good evening, Ben. Yeah, very well. Very impressed with Morgan Rogers, but we'll come to that, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will in just a moment. Also, Jonathan Wimbush, fan of West Bromwich Albion, is on the call as well. How you doing, John?
Yeah, not too bad. Very warm in my living room, and
well, well,
you know,
you're gonna have to pay for that heating at some point. So,
absolutely.
But there we are. It's not that cold. It's just kind of a bit chilly in the press box here at Villa Park. Now, what we normally do when we're on a location is we go as quickly as possible because eventually some stewards are going to come along and boot us out. So let's get on with it. The game that we've just seen, Aston Villa beating Manchester United by 2-1. I was just saying before we started recording here, this is the first time I've ever been in a stadium live watching Aston Villa beat Manchester United. 43 years on this earth, right? I've never seen that. On TV a couple of times, yes, but not actually being here to see it happen. It was hard work. It was a tough watch at times. I thought Villa were quite flat in the first half, and we were making comments on that in the commentary. But when you've got a player with the X factor like Morgan Rogers, which he showed with his 2 goals today, Ed, you're always in with a shout of picking up a positive result.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought that Man United were the better team in the first half.
Yeah, we said that too.
And I thought that Villa have been displaying this kind of lack of intensity for quite a few games, actually. Obviously, I saw them live last week at West Ham, and it was the same. It was really bizarre. They didn't really seem that, interested in actually trying to score a goal. They were just like, moseying along through the game. But as you say, every time I've felt this way, because I was at Tottenham Stadium when Tottenham battered you, to be quite honest, at the first 45 minutes. I was at London Stadium last week where he didn't really get into the game. You gifted them a goal, and as I say, but then this man turns up, and I mean, you are actually a team that are sort of bending the stats in terms of XG because you only score bangers, basically. You only score from outside the goal.
Villa proving that XG means absolutely nothing this season.
That is actually what I was going to say.
And that what? I thought the key 2 things were important. I'm putting my gloves on. That's how chilly it's getting here. We were all very surprised to see Bruno Fernandes subbed at half-time, and obviously carrying some sort of a knock. He did make an appearance walking down the touchline. Was it hamstring? Is that what they reported on the TV?
He literally pulled up. He stopped running, and all the players around him stopped for him. It was really bizarre.
Okay.
But it's his hamstring. It was obvious at the time. I'm surprised he stayed on the pitch, actually.
Yeah. Now, I was with our own Paddy Silk, who's a Man United fan. He's in the press conference as we speak, and we're not here to talk extensively about Manchester United, but what I would say for the benefit of our viewers, and this is why we like to do the Monday after from a ground if we've just been to a match, because it kind of to say it gives us some legitimacy to say we were there and we were at the heart of it. Now, TV, as brilliant as it is, 4K HD, and Sky do a brilliant job, and TNT, it doesn't come close to actually being here in person. And you can see full on the problems that Manchester United have got with Ruben Amorim here today. He made absolutely no attempt to change the shape of United, particularly once they went 2-1 down. the options that they have off the bench. I mean, they've lost a lot of players to AFCON. But surprisingly, Evan Gesson was called up last minute for Villa, and he was still here. He made an appearance, so maybe you could have fought a little bit harder to have kept some of your players for at least this game before going into the into the Christmas period. But I can see, and sitting next to a Man United fan, and Man United fans are chirping on and on and on. No, you can see it when you're here. You can see why they're frustrated with him.
Absolutely. So, sorry to jump straight in there, but I totally share that sentiment. They have a serious problem with legs and industry in the middle of the park. And they have, I mean, for a start, they're playing a very, very young Heaven at the back in the
I
middle
like
of
him.
a three.
I like him though. I
I
thought he was
do.
all right.
But when you're young and you're immature, you're likely to make a mistake every game. I'd say one little rick where you're just out of position, and to be in the middle of a three, he was out of position for one of the goals against Bournemouth in the week, and Mason Mount was saying, "What? Get over there," So, and then I mean, he has like a strange mind of his own that where he seems to think, oh well, as long as I've ran over to someone, I don't
Yeah,
actually have to engage with them.
yeah,
And when it's Morgan Rogers, you need to engage with them.
yeah.
That they're too weak at the back. They haven't got enough legs in the midfield. I mean, yeah, you're right. Cunha, good
Oh,
attacker, but
what
so many
Wolves, what
gaps.
what Wolves would give to still have him, but we'll get onto that a bit later on. But it summed it up for me with Amorim and United, because I mean, yeah, we're talking about Midlands football, but there's United fans everywhere, so they're gonna watch this. So it's a relevant point. I don't think those fans have got far to travel home, if I'm honest. The ones that are on the opposite side, but he brings on a young lad, Shay Lacey, teenager, towards the end. So it's an attack-minded substitution, and he brings off Yoro, but he sticks with the back three, and Dallo, who got as far forward for United in the wide areas as anybody during the game, he went and filled the position of Yoro. Now, I'm sorry, you are managing Manchester United. Right,
The,
that
the,
is
the
not
weird thing about it is,
good enough. And
the strange thing
I
about it
should
is,
sorry, Ed, I should be delighted. I should be
sorry, go on.
ecstatic, right? But I'm seeing the what people say is the biggest club in the world with amateurish and do you think those tactics are going to fool somebody like Unai Emery? No
Absolutely. And
chance.
don't you think it's so strange because it seemed like he got it when he played Bournemouth because he just kept doing the sort of Fergie thing of throwing the kitchen sink at it. Go again, go and score another goal. And he even said afterwards in his press conference, We're Man United. We're here to entertain." You think, oh, by George, I think he's got it. And then today he does this. It's
Well,
so strange.
Fergie would have
Yeah,
taken winning
it's
1-0 every week to win, quite frankly, and that's another story. But
absolutely. And
go on,
sorry to
Job.
butt in,
No, no, no.
but
By all means,
just another point there. Manchester United. I've just been looking at the stats. Manchester United beat Aston Villa on every stat apart from the most important one,
doesn't
and
matter.
that's the
Doesn't count.
scoreline. It does not count. And, I know Manchester United fans as well, and they've been saying this all season. He's just not good enough, Ruben Amorim. Yes, he brought on like the youngster you mentioned, and also Jack Fletcher, who I believe is Darren Fletcher's son.
That's right.
So, yeah. So, yeah, it's tough for young players like that to go in straight into a situation like this, where you're only there as like an afterthought. Because of course we mentioned before, and you mentioned in your team news video about Kobe Mainu, Ben,
Well,
and he
that's
wasn't even
staggering.
in.
That
So
that is
yeah,
absolutely staggering. Now, if Kobe Mainu is injured, not in the matchday squad at all today, Ruben Amorim was asked specifically about Kobe Mainu in his pre-match press conference. Now, it's okay. It's highly possible that he could have picked up an injury in between the press conference and the game today. But Ruben Amorim fielded question after question after question about Kobe Mainu and his brother and the T-shirt. He could have nipped it in the bud and said, he's injured, he's not playing. Now,
yeah,
Kobe Mainu was the ready-made replacement for Casemiro, who had picked up 5 bookings against Bournemouth the other day, and and we said this on another show that we do, John, on
Yeah,
Friday morning. It's personal if he doesn't pick Kobe Manu today,
He's made
and
his decision.
that's clear. That's out, and to balance that out, he has that right as the employed head coach or manager of Manchester United. I think his brother's antics are ridiculous, quite frankly.
Mhm.
But let's move on, shall we, from Manchester United? Let
yeah.
them stew in their own juice, shall we? 10 wins in a row in all competitions. I actually think I came into this today feeling a bit naive, thinking, well, we haven't had a European game this week, or a midweek fixture from West Ham it's Sunday to Sunday, a lot of rest. We can go full. I wanted Villa to come flying out the traps, put United under pressure, get a couple of goals up early. Just didn't happen. And yes, that's frustrating, but they do seem to be playing within themselves, particularly going into this busy period. Chelsea away on Saturday, then the return game against Arsenal, and that result for Arsenal a couple of weeks ago is still very raw for them. So they know they know what they're up against. But I mean, solid without being spectacular, with the exception of Morgan Rogers. I think Lindelof's come on leaps and bounds playing as a centre half alongside Ezri Konsa, thinking, oh, without Pau Torres or Morgan, Tyrone Mings, I should say, that could be a problem going forward. I love the midfield. I've got to say, I would have liked to have seen more from them today in terms of stamping their authority on the game. They were able to do that without Bruno Fernandes in there in the second half, and that was noticeable. But McGinn, Tillemans, Onana, Camara, you can bring Bogard on, you can bring Gesson on if you want to. Ross Barkley's still got to come back as well from injury. People keep saying
you've got a little bit of everything, haven't you?
yeah,
in that midfield.
and I get people are saying, well, they ain't got the squad to sustain this if they want a title challenge. That might be true, but the national media do keep banging on like they are down to the bare bones, and they're not. They do have options. If you look at let me read you out the two benches from today, and we made this point in the commentary. Villa's bench. Bizzo, the goalkeeper, Buendia, Digne, Marlon, Garcia, Bogard, Gesson, and then a couple of young lads in Lawrence Hemmings and Leon George Routh. But by and large, those are players who play regularly in the first team. But listen to United's bench: two goalkeepers for a start. That's always a sign. Altai Bayandia, Tom Heaton, and then it was Martinez who came on for Bruno Fernandes, Xerxes, who we've seen nothing from for United, Malacia, Fredrickson, then the two lads we've mentioned, Fletcher and Lacey, Ben Dito Montano. That was Manchester United's bench for a Premier League football match.
I think that something that goes under the radar with Man United, and it's because of what you say, the fact that everyone says, "Oh, they're still the biggest club in the world," blah blah blah. The fact of the matter is, they've been out the Champions League for a long time now, and even though they spend a lot of money, I would say waste a lot of money because I don't think their recruitment's good at all. I accept that Mbeumo and Cunha look talented, but for quite a few seasons now, they've made bad buys. And I think it's a question of who can they attract. I mean, is buying Wolves' best player what they used to do? Not really. I don't think Cunha's the same as adding Berbatov.
No, they used to take Villa's best players in the going back in the likes of
and
like
Spurs,
Dwight York and Ashley Young and what have you. But you're right. This is if that's where you're shopping, that's going to be the quality of goods. And but then what you're asking is for a manager or a head coach to be able to work a bit of magic with that and improve players. Unai Emery does that here at Aston Villa. He's shown that he's done that here since he walked through the door 3 years ago. We've seen virtually no evidence of that from Ruben Amorim at all. And do you know what he said as well? And we're going proper off on Man United here. He said in that press conference after talking about Kobe Mainoo that he said we need to work out different ways of trying to win games. And I'm like, well, change the formation then, mate.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're like, you are acknowledging the problem. but you are not willing
If
to.
we can see it.
You've acknowledged the problem. You haven't. It's different from Ten Hag used to come out with absolute cobblers, right? But at least Amorim acknowledges the problems, but he ain't willing to even try anything to change them. And as I say, I shouldn't care, right? But when you get used to it watching, we watch Premier League football, we watch Championship football, and we see patterns of play on the field, and I'm like, come on, you can do better than this. You are the manager of Manchester United, and I think that is where we'll leave that as far as United talk is concerned. So 2 big games coming for Villa in the capital over Christmas. Chelsea away. Chelsea very strong at home, bit indifferent on the road, but strong at home. And then Arsenal away. We're going to know a lot more by the turn of the year in terms of what Villa's credentials are, aren't we, Ed?
Yeah, I mean, you and I had a discussion in the week, didn't we, about this, and I'm going to go with the sort of mainstream media narrative, I'm afraid. I
Okay.
don't think you'll keep it up. I have to be honest, but only because, what about, the week where Morgan Rogers doesn't create a moment of magic, I can see you dropping points and
No,
stuff, and then I
that's fair
think you
enough.
might fall away a little bit. And Arsenal, I accept what you said about the players you've got and the fact that you do have a bit of everything in your midfield and stuff. Arsenal have got 2 players for every position,
That's right.
and they all look in form.
Yeah.
So I just think they're too strong personally, but they are doing well, and like you say, they're grinding out results. Even if they don't look great, they win.
But what you do have to look at as well, John, is the gap between where Villa are in third and the teams trying to get into a Champions League place. That's a significant gap even now, and if they can finish in those top 4 or 5 places, we think it will be 5th again, good enough in terms of the coefficient, and a sustained effort in the Europa League. I mean, I think what Villa will do come March or April, when they'll go in, they won't be as drastic as what Tottenham did last year, but they'll start going, no, Europa League now will be and you'll start seeing like a lot of change. The kind of changes that you're seeing in Europa League games at the moment, you'll start seeing those in Premier League games. And I think that is and what Villa fan wouldn't take that, to finish top 4 and win the Europa League as well. That would not, and when you haven't won a trophy for 30 years, which is what it will be, that's to win the Premier League, it'd be beyond all of our wildest dreams, but we need to be realistic here.
And what I might add is, if you had said to an Aston Villa fan back in August and September, Christmas Day, you're going to be 3 points off the top, they'd have thought you was on something.
Yep.
And yet here we are. You're 3 points off of Arsenal heading into Christmas, and yes, you've got a couple of tough games, but Aston Villa. 10 wins in all competitions. It's looking like you are definitely the informed team of the Premier League at the moment.
And also as well,
the other thing to say about Emery, John. Sorry,
no, go on.
So the other thing to say about Emery is, he's a Europa League specialist, so he will switch his focus because he'll want to put a pot in the cabinet. Also, you did all of your business on the last day, on deadline day, and none of those players are actually featuring. He's using the players that he had last season. So as you said, he's actually getting more out of the team he already had. He hasn't really been given the tools to push on, but he's done it anyway. So he deserves a lot of credit. And as you say.
And if they are to go again in January, you would probably think it would be a recycling of Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho, and then try and bring others in to add to that. But as I say, we'll have to wait and see. It is the Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. We're staying in the Premier League. We're talking about the nightmare that is the existence of Wolverhampton Wanderers when we come back.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
The Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBM Radio. I'm here at Villa Park right now, having just seen Aston Villa beat Manchester United by 2-1, and the dizzying heights of third place in the Premier League, all the way down to the very depths of despair, and that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I said a few weeks ago on this show that the way it's going for Wolves is almost identical to when Villa were relegated 10 years ago. I'm now in a position to change that assessment and to say it's far, far worse than that as far as Wolverhampton Wanderers are concerned. 2-0 defeat at home to Brentford yesterday. And they do say, and I've heard people say in media circles where we kind of hobnob about press rooms and stuff like that, is that no two games are ever the same. Well, Ed Mackay, I would put it to you that a few weeks ago you were at Wolves v Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace won by 2-0. 0-0 in the first half, battling away but without showing any real quality. Go a goal down, game over, finish 2-0. That happened yesterday against Brentford too, didn't it?
Absolutely, 100% correct. And the issue is, Connor made a really good point last week that they have nothing to lose now. And Rob Edwards almost would do himself a little bit of credit and probably better for his mental health if they just went for it and tried to score a goal. But they just don't have the belief in their own abilities to actually dominate any of the teams in this league. Against Palace, again, Palace was so flat. They were so
Yeah.
uninterested in the first half. Brentford, yes, I mean, it's one of the most forgettable halves of football I think I've ever watched. And it just gets to a point in the second half where I think the other team think, you know what, this team can't score against us. We might as well go and win.
Yeah.
They fought for their lives last week against Arsenal because they knew that all the task was there. Let's just not concede a cricket score. And they
Yeah.
battled and they battled and they got a goal, which that was the first goal they'd scored under Rob Edwards. And then they just completely capitulate. And to be honest, their fans haven't seen their team win since April.
Yeah.
They have now broke the record of the worst start in the Premier League, match in 12 defeats in a row with Sheffield United. I mean, it's really dire, isn't it? I mean, who'd want to go and watch it?
Well, Rob Edwards can only grasp whatever or clutch whatever straw he can. In the positives that have so far come from his reign and just before were battling displays away from home. You think about here in a 1-0 defeat and at Arsenal last week. And I, for an hour at Chelsea before he took the job, I thought they had a decent shape to them. When they're at home, and there's 30,000 Wolves fans there, and the onus is on them, whether you like it or not, the onus is on you as the home team to go and do it. They just have not got that word, belief. They just have not got it in them to go and take it to the opposition. So he tried yesterday to do the away stuff at home and maybe try and nick something. Don't work, I'm afraid, and that's kind of where they are. Brentford are no great shakes. I mean, Keith Andrews has done a lot better than many forecasts that he would, and that people feared for Brentford this season, having lost Thomas Frank and the players that they lost. So when you analyse that as a gap in terms of both quality and belief, for Brentford to be that far ahead of Wolverhampton Wanderers, Crystal Palace we've just talked about, and they won the FA Cup last season. They're playing in Europe. You know, they're in a different part. Brentford would take this season 17th on goal difference, right? That's how far off they are.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely, and
absolutely.
yeah.
John,
The thing, the thing with Wolves is they can play well for like 45 with it still being a 0-0, but the minute they concede that first goal, they just seem to fall apart, and we've seen it on many occasions. You know, we had it against Brighton, where they played well, they were 2-1 up, and then they conceded, and that is literally the last point that they've scored so far this season, and that seems like forever and a day ago. And it's just been defeat after defeat after defeat. And I mean, the drop off from Wolves compared to last season. Okay, last season wasn't that great either, with Gary O'Neill first and then Vita Pereira saving that season. I don't see a repeat of that, to be honest.
No, nice easy one. Anfield next. Uh, for
Don't go
Wolves.
too overboard. Don't go tay overboard about how good Liverpool are at Anfield, by the way.
Yeah. But you want to play Wolves at the moment if you. I mean, Liverpool aren't struggling in the way they were a few weeks ago, but um, well, everybody at the moment looks. When are we playing Wolves? I mean, that's the worst part. That's the worst part
Yeah, yeah.
about it if you're a Wolves fan, and there's nothing we can't. Well, what can we say? Jeff Shee, after doing an interview with BBC Local Radio about all plans for the future and how it's going to work out, and then now he's gone, which is just a bit. But what is it? His nephew, is it, or his son that's just
Well,
taken over? It's deck
Well,
chairs on the
apparently he's
Titanic.
not related.
Oh,
well, it's Nathan Shee. Yeah, it's a guy called Nathan Shee, but no relation. So,
all right, we'll have to
you
take the
know,
word for that.
mm,
Um, what difference is that going to make to Rob Edwards and to Wolves going into the second half of the season? It's utter madness. We might as well leave that there. There's nothing more we can say or add to it as far as that's concerned. The Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio. We're dipping into the Championship when we come back.
BHBN Radio has been going since 1952. It is run entirely by volunteers, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Right now, BHBN needs friends like you to ensure it can broadcast to hospitals, care homes, and into the community for many more years to come. You can help by donating through our Just GoFundMe account. It's easy. Simply go to our website, bhbn.net, scan our GoFundMe QR code, and in a few clicks, you can help us out. If you're a taxpayer, you can give 25% more through gift aid at no extra cost to you.
BHBN Radio.
The Monday after from Birmingham Sport, BHBN Radio, Ben Ellis, Ed Mackay, Jonathan Wimbush here. You're watching it on Monday. It's still Sunday evening for us, and I'm at Villa Park. And disappointing day in the Championship for our two teams. We're going to look at West Brom first. We talk about the 45-minute team with West Bromwich Albion in recent times. Now, John, you can go into more detail with this. Played all right first half and were a bit unlucky. But having gone 1-0 down, never felt in the second half that they were gonna get something out of the game.
no, and it's a case of ifs, buts, and maybes. Mikey Johnston with a free kick that just missed the goal. Isaac Price with an absolute sitter, and Carlin
Well,
Grant shooting wide where it was easier
I'm glad you
to
mentioned Isaac
score.
Price. Because if anybody in the West Brom setup has gone off the boil since the start of the season, it is
Yeah,
definitely
it is
Isaac
Isaac
Price.
Price. It is definitely Isaac Price, and the chance he had in the first half, half time, Albion should have been 2, maybe 3-0 up. But saying that, in the added time of the first half, I've seen a lot of replays with this handball,
Yeah.
and I honestly, the ref obviously saw something that TV cameras failed to show. It must have been a fingertip, but it doesn't matter if it's a fingertip or a full-on punch of the ball.
Mm.
Handball is still handball.
Ryan
So,
Mason thought it
um,
was a penalty,
yeah, well,
which was interesting.
I
Which
mean,
was interesting.
yeah, yeah, I've seen a lot of replays, and I've gone like super slow motion and everything like that, and I
So
couldn't see.
this is an insight into Jonathan Wimbush's
Yeah,
Saturday night.
it really
everybody,
was. It
everybody
really
else's,
was because
everybody else's Christmas party. Jonathan Wimbush is slowing down the ITV highlights on on his
yeah,
box.
just trying to see what Nat Phillips did. But yeah, it was a penalty.
Yeah.
It was a penalty, and Ollie
What about
McBurney.
what about the red card? What about the red card?
See, again, that I thought that was harsh, and I listened to West Brom's own commentary team with Andy Johnson, and
I'm not going to
they
do it,
were
but I
confused.
can do a good impression of AJ, but I'm not going to do
Go
it
on.
here. No,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
going to do it
yeah.
here.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it here.
Okay.
Well,
But yeah, even they were confused as to why it was a red card. Yellow, yes, definitely. And the reason why Alfie Gilchrist was on the pitch in the first place anyway was because he came on for George Campbell, who had already picked up a yellow. So the ironic thing was, in order to avoid a red card, you ended up getting a straight red anyway. The team did. So I mean, it was harsh. It was harsh to be a straight red card, and obviously you can't. With it being a yellow card, I don't think you can appeal it.
no, you can't.
Although I
No,
don't know.
No.
Yeah,
you can't
so
appeal two yellows.
oh, you can't appeal two
You
yellows.
can't
You
appeal
can
two
appeal a
yellows.
straight. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so I have a feeling that might get appealed, being a
yeah.
straight red. But yeah, it was harsh.
The squad's being stretched now, with suspensions and injuries to the likes of Malumbi, and what have you, and that what you go to the Hawthorns on Boxing Day, and Bristol City are in as good as form as anybody in the Championship. Haven't beat Middlesbrough yesterday.
Yeah, again, two tough fixtures. Bristol City on form, QPR the return leg after the defeat on the road earlier this month. I honestly don't know what the team's going to be like, what the starting 11's going to be, because, like you said, we've got Jed Wallace out, we've got Toby Collier out, Alfie Gilchrist is suspended, we've got Alex Moat out as well, I believe. So,
Mm.
yeah, the injuries and the suspensions are mounting up, and that's not really what we want going up against one of the informed teams in the Championship.
No, no doubt about it. Quick word on West Brom, Ed, before we move on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say something about Ryan Mason actually, because we spoke last week, and a West Brom fan who I know had said that he half was hoping for a negative result because he wanted rid of Ryan Mason. Now,
Can't
I,
talk
I
like
don't
that.
go along. I know I don't go along with that kind of thinking from a fan. However, I do think he does show some naivety, saying that he thought it was a pen. Why? Like I just think like that doesn't really give your team the sort of like belief that
Well,
that you're fighting, because they're the
what
things
it
that you can influence.
what it
For
also doesn't do is keep you, even in a subtle way, it doesn't keep you on side with the fans, who I heard on
yeah,
phone-ins last night saying that's the worst refereeing performance we've ever seen, and we've been absolutely robbed. And then your manager comes
yeah,
out and goes, "Yeah, I thought it was a penalty." I thought, well,
and
well, okay,
exactly,
cheers, mate. We're with
yeah.
you.
He
But
obviously didn't have super slow motion like I did.
even if you can't say it, John, even
Yeah,
if you can't
yeah,
say,
exactly.
or the Australian version of Snicko. Right, let's
Yeah.
see if that even works. Right, we're up against the clock here. We don't have Kim with us, so it's a reasonably objective view of Birmingham City. The problems that West Brom have on the road are almost identical to the problems that Birmingham City have. Defeats in the north with a man sent off as well. But I said that West Brom played all right, were unlucky to an extent. Ed, Blues were woeful at Sheffield
No, yeah,
United yesterday, absolutely woeful. And we've started to see now the over reliance on the home form has bled into how they're performing. You all those games of scoring 4 goals and being on the front foot and being aggressive, and that's all well and good. But if you don't pick up points on the road, and if you surrender as meekly on the road as they are doing,
yeah.
then results like Charlton at home are going to happen, where you should win the game, but you end up not winning the game. And now you find yourself falling down the table. I had a look at social media yesterday, and it's not the best sounding board. I can't remember anybody ever going on social media to say how happy they are about their team. Everybody rants on social media.
It's only toxic.
It's only toxic stuff, so you have to bear that in mind. But some of the stuff Blues fans were coming out with on Twitter, that I don't say X, Elon Musk can sling it. If right,
No,
that
the issue is when they're away from home and they don't have that home crowd behind them, they look decidedly unassured
yep,
about everything they're supposed to be doing, with or without the ball. I mean, that's like getting a sending off. in the area of the pitch that he did is totally stupid because he's not going anywhere. You
Tommy
don't
Doyle
need
was
to go
talking about
into it
him.
like that. Yeah, Tommy Doyle getting that red card. He got it on the halfway line, and he got it because they were so panicked
Yeah,
any time that the possession of the ball turned over, and that they really do look like they know what they're going to do when they're in St Andrews, and they look like they've never played together when they go away from home. It's
it's
really,
absolutely
really
bizarre.
bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. They'll be all right on Boxing Day though, because I'm going to be there against Derby County. John Eustace coming back to St Andrews. Not the first. He did come back with Blackburn, but here's somebody who was unceremoniously dumped in favour of a Hollywood appointment. Will come back to St Andrews with something to prove. There's no doubt about that. And yeah,
Yeah.
but and they'll Blues fans will turn up. They're 26,000 lunchtime kickoff, and they'll go there. They'll expect to win. I'm going there. I expect them to win. But they need to be careful. They need to be careful here because, as I say, it's bleeding into the home form as well. They could put that all to bed with a comfortable 3-4-0 victory on Boxing Day, and then look to start again with the next round of games that they've got away. But
Yeah.
it's just a bizarre puzzle, John, with
It is,
Blues.
yeah, and what I would put yesterday down to as well, not just because of how poor Birmingham are on the road, and with Tommy Doyle's red card, I agree, absolutely no excuse for that. But with Sheffield United losing to West Bromwich Albion the week before, and as I've said previously, Chris Wilder with a face like thunder, even more so than usual. Sheffield United were out to prove a point. And yeah, Birmingham kind of faced them at the wrong time. And yeah, it was one of those where they wanted a result, they wanted a performance, and they got both. But yeah, Birmingham were really poor yesterday, which helped them in their own issues there with
Okay,
Sheffield
20
United.
seconds. Ed, anything more to add on Blues?
No, to be quite honest with you, because I agree with you. I think they'll get a result on Boxing Day, and then all will be forgiven.
Absolutely. We're done. We're out of time, and yeah, there's no sign of anybody trying to kick me out of here. So maybe I can go and catch a bit of the press conferences in the press room here at Villa Park. You can check out our YouTube channel and TikTok. 50,000 views on TikTok in the last week, by the way. So we do appreciate that. Yeah. Birmingham, bhbn.sport is what I'm trying to say. We're virtually out of time. Ed Mackay, Jonathan Wimbush, Merry Christmas from all of us here at BHBN Radio, and we'll see you over the festive period.
Birmingham Sports
with Ben Ellis.
This is BHBN Radio.